Hey, how's it going? I'm Steve Kinsey and I'm here to host this instructional video to help you learn how to set up and tear down a tripod and camera. It's kind of a lot of information in a short amount of time, but it's the basic stuff you need to know for shooting professionally. Now don't worry, I'm going to be straight and to the point. There isn't going to be any cheesy 80s music or booming narration voices.
Oh, really now?
What the hell?
I rather like the music.
No music. Kill the music, alright? I mean, this is straight to the point. We gotta get this information out because I gotta get paid and then I gotta get to my yoga class, so just kill it.
No music then?
No music and no booming narrator voices either.
That I can't do. I'm getting paid too.
Fine. Let's just get this done with so we can both get out of here, alright?
Fine.
Fine. Good. Now then, let's start off by looking at a tripod. This is the standard tripod you will be using. To open the tripod, you need to grab the legs and spread them apart. Push down on the center plate all the way to the bottom until it locks into place. To extend the legs of the tripod, slide the center plate just under this line. Then slide the center plate all the way down and lock the legs into place. Sometimes you may need to shoot higher. One thing you could do is extend the pedestal column by pulling out the lock between the legs of the tripod. Then you want to push down on the head and unlatch the clasp on the side. Once it's at the height you want it at, lock the lever between the legs to keep it in place. The top of the tripod is known as the bowl. In this bowl sits the head. The camera wants to point out on the front of the head. To know which is the front and which is the back, look for these holes. These are panhandle holes, so you can put handles on the tripod. Another thing located on the back of the head is this bubble. This is to help you level the camera once it is in place. The camera attaches to the mounting plate. The top of the mounting plate has a groove so you can slide the camera on. It kind of looks like a triangle with a square below it. This is the side you want to face the front. Remember, the back is where the panhandle holes are, so you want the triangle to point forward. If you flip the mounting plate over, you will see the square. This slides onto the tripod and locks into place. If it does not lock into place, check this red lever on the back of the head. You want the lever positioned on the left side prior to sliding the mounting plate on. As you slide the mounting plate on back first, you will notice the red lever click back to the right. Check to make sure it is secure. Then you can mount your camera. Take the camera by the handle and slide it into the two grooves until it clicks. If it doesn't click, it might not be on there securely. Pull out this lever on the mounting plate by pressing on the red switch and pulling out the lever. This is also how you remove the camera after it's locked into place. After it's locked into place, double check to see the pan and tilt locks are secure as well. We'll explain those in a moment. Then you want to grab the battery. There is a V on one side of it. There's also a V on the back of the camera. You want to line up the V on the battery and the V on the camera so they'll fit into place. You want to take over, voice?
I'll take over from here. You can tell them about the sound later. Now, two of these levers are the pan and tilt locks. The pan is located on the front of the head and the tilt is on the side. Release the pan and you'll be able to pan left and right. Release the tilt and you'll be able to tilt up and down. Both of these have rings that go with them called drag. The drag gives you different intensities of friction for the pan and tilt. Set the drag to a high number, you'll have more friction and you may have a hard time panning or tilting. Set it to a lower number and you'll be able to move smoother and more quickly because there will be less friction. Another lever is this one at the base of the bowl. Press down on it to be able to pivot the head. This is where the bubble comes into use. After you have your camera mounted, pivot the head until the bubble is in the circle. This levels the camera if you're unable to equally level the legs. Again, you want to do this after you mount your camera with the battery attached. This will keep your shots from looking canted or off balance. There's a knob on the side of some tripods that allows you to slide the top of the head forward or backward. This comes into use if the camera is too heavy in the front or back because of batteries or lights. If the camera wants to tilt backward, you can slide the plate forward. Now you should be ready to turn on the camera. To turn the camera on, you have to flip the switch from off to on.
Oh, and one quick thing. If you don't see anything in the viewfinder, you might have left the lens cap on. Remember to remove it and put it back in the bag so you don't lose it.
Take your tape and insert it with the flap facing down and the wheels facing toward the camera. To insert a tape, press and hold the eject button located on the top of the camera. The side should open up. It should slide in with little effort. If you have to force it, don't. You might have it in the wrong way. The next thing you should do now that the tape is inserted is to set the time code. You should zero it before you start if you're using a new tape. Make sure the display is on time code, flip this covering on the side down, and find these two switches here. You want to set the one on the left to preset and the one on the right to set. Then go up to the display and hit the reset button to the left of it. Flip this switch on the side to the word bars. If you look in the viewfinder, you should now see color bars. Next, you want to record for 5 or 10 seconds. You want to do this so that there's plenty of pre-roll time when you go to edit. When you're done, flip it back to the first cam position. Now, after you've recorded, put the left switch to the regen position and the right onto the record run position. The whole purpose of this is to make sure there are no jumps in the time code because that makes editing difficult. And if you set the second switch to the F run or free run position, this will happen. The next thing you want to do is focus. Zoom into the subject all the way until it stops. Then roll the focus ring, which is the first ring on the front end of the lens, until it is in focus. Then you can zoom out and you should be good to go. The next thing you want to do now that you are focused is white balance. You need to adjust the colors of the room to make your picture look normal. If you don't do this, depending on the light, you could have a yellowish or bluish color. What you want to do is hold up a white card, white sheet of paper, or something else that's white. Hold it up in front of your subject and zoom in until it fills up most of the frame. Then flip the white balance switch here on the front of the camera upwards and it should white balance. Also, if it is the first time you've turned on the camera, you need the black balance. Just flip the white balance switch down and the screen will turn black. This gets rid of all of the dead pixels there might be that could ruin your shot. The following are shots that you would normally use while shooting. The first shot you want to make is an establishing shot. This is the widest shot you have of the subject and the surrounding area. This establishes where the scene takes place. The next one is a wide shot. This is usually a closer whole body shot of the subject. Next, a medium or bust shot is what people usually use during the course of an interview. This shot is usually from the waist or chest up. A close-up is the next shot. This is usually from the shoulders or neck up. The last shot is an extreme close-up. You would use an extreme close-up when shooting B-roll to get a tighter shot of an item in the scene. One thing you should always remember when shooting is the rule of thirds. Imagine lines on the screen like so. You always want your subject's eye level to be on the top line and at one of the axis points. You don't want them to be centered. If they're centered up, it doesn't really look visually interesting. For an interview, you'd want your subject to look slightly off camera at the interviewer, and you'd leave enough space or nose room in front of the subject. You never want a person's nose to cross the center of the screen. The next thing we will discuss are the filters. The filter is located toward the front of the camera at the back of the lens. The number that is facing out corresponds to the filter that is currently in use. As you can see, we're using filter 1. Filter 1 is used for inside shooting under artificial light, like fluorescent or incandescent lighting. You would also use it outside at night, like for sporting events. As you can see, our subject can be easily seen. The second filter is designed for the bluer light of the sun, and it includes what is called a neutral density filter. It's like sunglasses for a camera. You use this filter when shooting outside in bright sunlight. The third filter is similar to the second one, but without the neutral density. You would use it outside under overcast skies. The last filter can also be used outside, but only in really bright light. This is primarily for shooting reflections, like on water or a really bright snow-covered area. Keep in mind that the filter is used to adjust the camera to the primary lighting source. If you're shooting inside but near a window where most of your light is sunlight, you may want to use an outdoor filter like 3. If you forget which filter to use, don't worry. Just look at this label next to the filter wheel. The only 3200 filter is for artificial light, and the 35600 filters are for sunlight. The ones with an ND next to the number are for bright sunlight. The ND stands for neutral density. What's that I hear? Isn't it time to talk about the sound?
I'll take it from here then. Now it's sound time. To pick up sound, you want to flip down this little side panel. You want to look for the switches that say auto and manual. Also, look for the switches that say front and rear. These are for the 2 channels you will be using. With auto, sound is detected by the camera and adjusted on its own. Manual means that you will be able to manually adjust the audio using these dials on the side. Let's look at a couple of mics. Always use the lav mic in a sit-down interview situation. That is the little mic that you clip onto the person's shirt. To clip it on, first pull it under your shirt so the cord is not visible. Allow the interviewee to do this themselves. You will need to clip the mic to their shirt. Make sure the mic is on the outside of the shirt and loop the wire through the clip like so. Also, make sure hair and or clothing does not rub against the mic because it will cause scratching noises. If you're doing a stand-up for news, you'd probably use a handheld stick mic. Either way, to plug the mic in, you attach the XLR cable to one end of the mic and the other end to the camera. On the back of the camera, there are 2 XLR connections for channel 1 and channel 2. What you want to do is plug the mic into channel 1. Now going back to this open panel on the side, leave channel 2 in auto and front. That way the camera's mic on the front will pick up natural sound and you can use it if you really need to. Put channel 1 in manual and in rear. That way the camera will detect the XLR cable in the back. Then you want to do a mic check by having your subject talk into the mic. Look at the audio levels on the display because you don't want it to exceed -20 dB. While the subject is speaking, adjust this little dial to increase or lower their volume. Once this is ready, you are ready to record their principal audio. There's a record button by the zoom and one here on the front of the camera by the white balance switch. Just simply press either one of them to start recording. And when you're done, press it again to stop. Be sure to always record an extra 5 to 10 seconds before and after the shot you plan to use. This will give you pad that will make editing easier. Here are a few other buttons you need to look at before shooting. There's another button above the white balance switch. This is the shutter button. You always want to make sure this is off unless you need to shoot something off a computer screen. The gain switch is on the side here. You want to make sure this is in the low position, or else you get a grainy look that just looks bad. The only time you would need this is in a very dark room with no other light to illuminate your subject, or to create an effect. Another button is located by the zoom button. This is the iris. The iris is what regulates the amount of light coming into the lens. Usually you'll want to make sure the switch is on auto so that the camera will adjust the brightness on its own. When you're done, you have to break down the camera and tripod. Take the tape out by pressing and holding the eject button. Close the tray, turn off the camera, pack up all the mics, cables, and other accessories and put them back into the camera bag. To wrap up cables, you want to use the over-under technique. This is used everywhere and you need to know this. First you coil it over and then under. Then repeat until the cable is fully coiled. Well, that's all you need to know about your basic camera and tripod operations. Doesn't look like I'm going to make it to yoga today. Doesn't really matter. I'm supposed to go shoot something for this class anyways. And it looks like I'm all ready to go anyway.
Good luck, and remember, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask your professors.
He's got a point. I'm Steve Kinsey. Have a great day.